Where have you been? No. Like seriously, where have you been? No, like seriously, where have you been? Look, I'm so glad you asked because it ain't nothing like being gone for a while and don't nobody ask where you been. You know, that might make you feel some kind of way. But anyway, I'm here now, darling, and I'm so glad you've asked. On a serious note, I have been out here, y'all, fighting for my freedom. And we're gonna get into that a little bit more in this video. A little story time here, okay? I don't know if you're like me, but I have spent all of my adult life thus far serving other people. Whether that is my family, my children, my spouse, my church, my job, whatever it is, the vast majority of my energy has really gone into other people. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying that's all bad, but we need to find the balance, right? And that's not something that I can honestly say I've had. The more I served, the more I lost sight of me. So I've been serving everyone around me because that's what I know how to do. My love language, one of my top love languages, is acts of service. It's what I do to show love and care. I serve. But all while doing that, I lost sight of me. And I'm not trying to be all deep here and go into a whole lot of things about my own personal life at this time. That's another video. But about the things that have really kept me from discovering more about who I am as a person outside of all those things. My goal here is to give you some information on how not to make those mistakes that I made. If you also have that issue where you are serving everyone and you've lost sight of yourself, then this video is gonna be for you, and I encourage you to watch to the very end. Maybe you've done the same thing I have, maybe you haven't. And if not, this video may not be for you. Maybe you've always had like really good balance of life. Maybe you've had no problems setting boundaries or saying no to people when you needed to. But unfortunately, that's not my story. And I would say before you turn the video off, watch for a little bit, because just because you may not have struggled with that at all, maybe you know someone who has. And maybe by watching me and listening to what I say, maybe that'll help you understand the people in your life more. Maybe that'll help you be more compassionate to those around you who maybe have a harder time saying no when they need to. So I might share something that helps you or someone that you know. And so if that's the case, I've done what I came here to do, because my goal here is to just share with at least one person who can identify with what this feels like. And maybe they'll be encouraged in the end to just keep on going. Listen, if we made it to 2021, I can tell you, you're here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. It is time for a complete rebirth, and that is what has happened to me, and that is what is happening. I've taken a break from social media, from being around people, because I needed time for me. And I'm not talking about just, the typical self-care that we hear about nowadays. I'm talking about being so intentional about finding out who you are and letting that person come to fruition, that from here on out, nothing else can stop you. So if you're still here, if you made it to 2021, I'm a messenger today to let you know there is still so much inside of you for you to do. And I know you might be thinking, well, there couldn't be a worse time. There's so much we can't do right now. But I'm going to ask you to change your mind a little bit. Instead of thinking about the things that you can't do, I want to come as a reminder from that little voice on the inside that's trying to tell you that no, this is exactly the time for you to do all the things that you've ever wanted to do. This is what today is about, reminding you of who you are and telling you not to give up on being the very best version of you. Because it's not about having the perfect time. I could go on and on about how this is precisely the perfect and anointed and appointed time for you to rise up and be all that you are supposed to be in this earth. Don't make me preach. I didn't come here to do that, okay? So let's talk about it. For the past 10 years, I have served in my church. I have served in my relationships, my marriage. with my children. And just those three things alone have become the focal point of my existence. And we're not even talking about things like extended family, your relationships with your parents, your siblings, anyone else, school relationships, people at work, your job, your career, whatever it is you're doing. I'm just talking about the day-to-day responsibilities, right? So I served in church, not daily, but I'm saying that was like the focal point. What my role in ministry, my role as a wife, my role as a mother, to the point that those three things just became who I was, and they took over, basically casting a shadow on who Crystolyn was before any of those other things came into the picture. I sincerely love each and every role that I have, that I walk in, that I have the privilege to serve in, and I give it my all. But what started to happen was I looked up one day and it seemed like there was nothing left for me to give myself. Literally, I didn't have anything to give me. And it's not even that I didn't know what I wanted or who I was, but my daily responsibilities just became so demanding that I did not have the time and the energy to pour back into myself. I literally felt like I didn't have time to, and that it would be okay because as long as I kept on going, everything would just work out. So what did I do? I started to reach out to those advisors in my life, people that you can go to for wisdom and advice, older people who can kind of talk some sense into you when you need it, right? And just tell them how I was feeling, like, hey, something's not right. I'm giving so much, but I don't think it's supposed to be like this. It's not supposed to be like this. I reached out to my closest loved ones, right? My spouse, my parents, siblings, whatever the case may be. And I just started trying to find out, are they feeling the same way? Do they feel like they have time? Am I mismanaging something? Well, the answer is yes, but we'll get to that. But really, like, why do I feel like this? And I wish I could tell you that when I reached out to these people that everything changed. The light bulb went off in everyone's minds, not just mine. And that, people would want to see me do the things that mattered to me most. That the people closest to me would say, you know what, she does need a break every now and then. Let's make sure she gets that. Even if it's just 30 minutes a day, right? Or I wish I could tell you right now that everyone said, you know what, it's time for you to focus on you. That's what you need to do. But none of that happened. On the contrary, I was basically told, either verbatim or in other words, just keep going. Just keep on serving. Keep on serving. That's what you're good at. Keep on serving. You got this. The more you serve, the more that you'll be rewarded. If you serve others, that's what life is all about. Or some people would say, well, look, that's just how life is. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Here's one. For even the Son of Man did not come expecting to be served by everyone, but to serve everyone, to give his life as a ransom price in exchange for the salvation of many. Mark 10:45, right? Now, don't you want to be like your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Crystolyn? Certainly you aren't too good to serve like Jesus did, right? Others would say, well, baby, look, it's just like that sometimes. That's just life. That's just how it goes. I went through it. My mom went through it. Her mom went through it. And probably her mom went through it too. It's just how it is sometimes. Those around me became so accustomed to me doing everything that they didn't consider that I needed my own time. My own time to just be. Time and space for me. Time to just feel like a person and not like the roles I had to walk in. And as soon as I discovered how depleted I was and that, hey, maybe I need some me time. Shoot, maybe I need some therapy. I did start going actually, and then COVID hit. And I had started going to an older lady who was not hip with technology. And so she at that time was not offering the virtual thing because, hey, it was new for all of us. And so that experience got cut out. And it just seemed like everything that I tried to do to figure out how to get back to me wasn't working. So then I just started doing the work myself. And not that I wasn't, that is still doing the work myself, trying to go to therapy, do those things. But I said, okay, when I have no one to go to, what can I do? And so I started thinking about the things that I was asking those around me. You know, why is this happening? Like, why is life like this? Come on, there's got to be more. There's got to be more than just serving all the time and then nothing. Then you feel like you don't even have anything for yourself. It can't be like that. And I'm here to tell you there's so much more. There is so much more. It's not just like that. That's not just the way it is. We're not supposed to work ourselves to death waiting for some great reward to come after we've crossed over and not believing that anything good can come from where we are right now. No, there is so much more for us. God has shown me too much about my life that I'm supposed to see here on earth that I know for a fact this can't be it. So maybe you've had the same experience. Maybe God has shown you things about your life and you're like, no, this cannot be it. I'm here today to serve as a reminder to you. Don't give up. Keep going. Our time is just now beginning. So if that sounds like you and you too are ready to fight for your freedom, go ahead and hit the like button. Leave me a comment. Tell me that you're ready. Tell me that you're going to fight for your freedom too. That you're going to fight until you get everything out of this life that you're supposed to have. Because I'm right there with you. So what do I mean when I say freedom? What am I talking about? I mean, we are on a deliberate path each and every day to manifest this life that God designed and created for us to come into fruition. We're on a path to reach that freedom that He had for us from the very beginning. The life He intended for us, our purpose, healthy relationships, healthy choices, healthy habits, healthy thought patterns. I know you might be saying, okay, that sounds good, but how do we get there? Well, I'm going to give you 3 points. 3 points that I am implementing in my own life that I think could work for you too. But don't stop there. Do the hard work like I'm doing and figure out what works for you. I didn't arrive here, which I'm not even sure where here is, but I didn't get here without blood, sweat, and tears, literally. But my path is not yours. I can only let you know what I've done in hopes that it will inspire you to also go on this journey and figure out what works for you, what is going to help you get back to you and regain anything that you feel like has been taken from you, snatched away. Come on, we all lost something in 2020. It's time to get it back. I want you to fight for your freedom just as hard as I'm fighting for mine right now. So here go the 3 points, okay? Point number 1, hit them like Rosa did. Nah. Do you understand? Let me put it in layman's terms. Say no. You gotta say no sometimes. And before you say, that's so obvious, I already know that I need to say no, then why are you not doing it? If you're the kind of person that has a servant's heart and you really do get something out of serving those around you and being there for everybody else, you gotta learn how to say no. It doesn't come instinctively. We gotta teach ourselves. Because I'm not even just talking about the average person. We all say we like to help people, or most people say that, right? Maybe not all, but most. I'm not even talking about just wanting to serve those around you and help those around you. I'm talking about you look at the bigger picture, like you want to help humanity. That's a big burden to take on, but some of us feel it, right? And if you're like that, you definitely have to learn how to say no to those things that don't serve you. Because there's a difference, right? And those things that we do to serve others, and we feel so much we get so much gratification out of that. But then there's sometimes that we're serving, and it's actually taking more from us than it is putting inside of us. And those are the moments that we have to learn to differentiate between. Point number 2, tell them like Usher did. Say yes. When opportunities come along that seem like once in a lifetime or just hard to accept because it seems too sacrificial for you to take on at that moment. You know, someone could invite you into an important business meeting, and that might be on a night where you usually have another commitment, but it's a one-time thing. And you're like, no, I can't do that. Or maybe someone's inviting you on a trip, like, hey, I'm going to meet some awesome people. I'd love for you to come along. Maybe your friends are just going on a trip somewhere and you're like, I can't get away from the kids right now, or no, I just don't know. You got to start saying yes to those things that will feed you. You have to. You got to say yes to you. When you start hearing that little voice saying, no, I don't think I can do it. I don't know if I can do that. You better turn into the little engine that could. You better be like, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. You better think yourself into the can and get yourself up that hill. Before you know it, you'll be coasting right along. Because you got to learn to say yes to you. I know what you're saying. Crystolyn, you just told me to say no. And then you told me to say yes. I'm confused. And how am I supposed to know when to do each of those? That brings me to point number 3. You have to learn how to differentiate between when to say yes and when to say no. I can't do it for you. I wish I could, but I can't tell you how to differentiate between the yeses and the nos in your life. Now, thankfully, I know someone who can help you, and that's God, because he's the only one that's able to help me. When I don't know when to say yes and when to say no, that's who I go to. I ask God, like, look, what am I supposed to do right now? This over here seems like a really good thing, but I don't know. Sometimes something can seem good and God will be like, nope. And that's my point. You got to stay connected in a way that you're going to be able to sense internally when to move forward and when to take a step back. Part of this whole process is learning our own limitations and realizing we're not going to have all the answers. We're not going to know it all. We're not going to know how to make decisions all the time. And that is perfectly human. We weren't designed to have all the answers. We have a creator who has all the answers. So our only job is to stay connected to him. So you got to do that work. You have to be willing to put in the work if you want to get to that freedom that is promised to you. And I'm not talking about, of course, right? We want financial freedom. We want the freedom to go and come as we please. We want to be able to travel as much as we want. I'm not even talking about any of that. I'm talking about everything that is intangible to the eye. The internal stuff that you can't see. I'm talking about freedom inside to feel and be everything that you're supposed to be. Your time is now. If you lean on God and ask him for clarity, he will come through every time. He has a proven track record. I can assure you that I'm a living witness that he comes through every time. As my dad likes to say, and you can take that check to the bank. Let me tell you something about my dad. When I try to talk like him sometimes, he's like, you a little too attached to enunciating all the syllables and all your words to talk like me. Well, I'll have you know, I just did a great impersonation. Well, hey, look, if you made it to the end of this video, I'm hoping and praying you found some value in it. And I hope that you don't feel alone. Because I'm gonna tell you, this journey can feel lonely so often. I wish I could say I had people reaching out to me during my quiet time, and more often than not, there weren't. Shout out to all the people I did talk to, which wasn't many. I can literally count on 3 fingers. But that's not even the point. The point is God is connecting us to the people we need to be connected to right now. And he's shedding away those layers of people that we don't need in our lives because they're not serving the greater purpose that is our life. So don't be discouraged by that. Be encouraged that you're right where you're supposed to be and that God has you here for a reason. Wherever your here is, whatever season you find yourself in, you're right where you're supposed to be. Just keep going. I don't want to make assumptions, but again, if you made it this far, I'm assuming maybe you got something out of this, right? Consider sharing it with somebody who could also benefit from hearing this. You know, maybe pass it along to someone who's been having a hard time. Maybe that strong friend you have that is always checking in on everybody else. Reach out. Let them know you're thinking about them and tell them to keep fighting. And listen, if you're ready to be a freedom fighter like me, please like the video, hit subscribe so that when I continue to upload these videos and we walk through this journey together, you don't miss out on anything, because this is a journey and it's honestly not meant for us to walk through all alone. Let's take our time on this journey and not rush through it. Let's walk through while we're traveling down this road. Let's stop at each rest stop and really take in our surroundings and come to a place where we see the beauty in it all. Until next time, bye guys.